From MTN News, this is Montana This Morning.
I'm Jolisa Lee here at the Law and Justice Center in Bozeman, where charges have been filed against the suspect involved in the Wrongway crash that killed Lisa Grewell in January. I spoke with Lisa's boyfriend and her sister to find out how they're moving forward at this time after such a devastating loss.
Everybody has to.
I'm Jonathan Amberian in Helena. Congressman Matt Rosendale has announced he'll seek another term representing eastern Montana in the U.S. House. I talked to him about what led to his decision to switch from the Senate race to the House race.
And is the border your top issue in the 2024 election? Well, for more and more Americans, it is. And today there will be dueling visits at the border by President Biden and former President Trump. We're going to take a look at the numbers and policy over the years when it comes to immigration. Alrighty, it is 6:31 on this Thursday morning. Jane McDonald and Matt Elwell with you bright and early, and thankfully the drive to work, it was much smoother than yesterday's drive to work.
Yesterday we had a lot of ruts and ice that was still on the roadway.
Yeah.
Temperatures warmed up yesterday, a lot of traffic. We got rid of most of that. Side street's still a little crunchy is how I describe it, but we're able to get around for now. We do have a lot of wind expected for the afternoon. Early morning temperatures, in many cases, above the freezing mark in southwest Montana. Most of our temperatures into the 30s to start the morning. The afternoon, we're expecting 40s to near 50 degrees. That's ahead of a frontal boundary that's going to slide into place. Gusty winds. We could see in some areas 40, 50 mile an hour wind gusts pretty easily out ahead of that. But that snow is picking up steam as you head into the evening and overnight. It is absolutely gorgeous looking out over the bridges this morning. Temperatures expected to be into the upper 40s through the afternoon. We do have that snow on the way. I'll talk what the impacts will be heading out the door tomorrow morning in just a few minutes.
All right, thank you very much, Matt. Now our top story this half hour, we have new details about the suspect involved in the Wrongway crash that killed 22-year-old Lisa Grewell in January. MTN's Jolisa Lee shares information from charging documents and tells us how Lisa's boyfriend and sister are moving forward amid paralyzing heartbreak.
It's been almost 2 months since Lisa Grewell was killed by a Wrongway driver as she headed home from work on I-90. The last time I spoke with Lisa's boyfriend and her sister, they said they hope for justice. And now, they're one step closer to justice being served.
She called me all the time, constantly, and now I don't have my friend to talk to anymore, you know? She's just gone.
On January 4th, Leah Grewell lost her twin sister, and Cody Pullen lost the love of his life, Lisa Grewell, who was killed by a Wrongway driver. Since then, Cody has been dealing with his grief while caring for Everest, he and Lisa's daughter, who turned 1 year old the day after her mother was killed.
It's been a roller coaster of emotions. We're still a long ways away from having justice.
But after a long wait, Cody and Leah say they feel relief that charges have finally been filed. In court documents filed Tuesday, the Gallatin County Attorney's Office says that Alexander Norbert Ledoux drove his vehicle the wrong way on I-90 for 20 miles before colliding with Lisa. Ledoux was reportedly noticed by several drivers who spotted him heading west on the wrong side of the road. 2 reported having to swerve out of the way to avoid a head-on collision. And Nadine Olive, who was a co-worker of Lisa's and who we've previously interviewed, told police Ledoux struck her vehicle and took off her side mirror. A total of 6 911 calls were made that night. A Gallatin County Sheriff's deputy responded and positioned himself ahead of the Wrongway vehicle on the eastbound shoulder with his lights and siren activated. According to court documents, the deputy attempted to deploy a tire deflation device but was unable to stop the vehicle. Ledoux then collided with Lisa. Court documents say the deputy watched the fiery collision from a distance. In the aftermath, the trooper on the scene observed several beer cans in Ledoux's vehicle. Ledoux's iPhone was also reportedly retrieved and collected as evidence. The trooper allegedly found Snapchat open with an unsent video showing Ledoux holding his phone in his hand, traveling at 108 miles per hour. Toxology reports show Ledoux's blood alcohol level to be 0.198, nearly 3 times the legal limit. Ledoux is charged with vehicular homicide while under the influence, fleeing and eluding, causing the death of another, and 6 counts of criminal endangerment. In the meantime, Cody and Leah continue to lean on each other, friends, family and support from the community.
Everybody has somebody, and she was my somebody. She was Cody's somebody. She was Everett's somebody.
In Bozeman, Jolisa Lee, MTN News.
Thank you very much, Jolie. Now, Governor Greg Gianforte and Montana Department of Public Health and Human Services announced an expansion of behavioral health services for Montanans. The announcement comes after the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services approved a waiver sought by DPHHS to provide 3 new Medicaid-funded services. Now, these services will help Montanans struggling with addiction and mental health conditions get into and keep housing, provide incentives to people to meet treatment goals, and it will also provide services to state prison inmates in the 30 days before their release. The expansion is part of the Healing and Ending Addiction Through Recovery and Treatment program. And there's been one more shakeup in Montana's political landscape as Congressman Matt Rosendale announced on Wednesday that he plans to run for another term in the House, 2 weeks after ending his campaign for the Senate. MTN senior political reporter Jonathan Amberian breaks down his announcement and what it means for the field of candidates running for his seat.
Congressman Matt Rosendale said Wednesday that after leaving the race for U.S. Senate, he got support from people across Montana that convinced him to run for re-election to the House.
You go back to family, you have the conversations, and they're supportive of this effort right now, so we're back in.
Rosendale told MTN he plans to update his filing with the Montana Secretary of State's office very soon. Rosendale hinted at a run for Senate for weeks and officially filed earlier this month. But former President Donald Trump announced an endorsement of Gallatin County businessman Tim Sheehy shortly after. And Rosendale said that's why he ended his Senate campaign after 6 days.
When you file for an office and President Trump, the most popular and most powerful Republican in the nation, steps out 4 hours later and endorses against you, it closes a lot of doors that you need to run for office, especially if you're talking about a United States Senate campaign.
Rosendale also said he's endorsing Sheehy in the Senate race and that it's time for the Republican Party to come together to secure a Senate majority.
I have gone out now and attended several events with Tim, and I have seen him interact with the people across the state and the way that he's addressed the issues.
Rosendale's announcement also comes days after his campaign threatened legal action against former Democratic Senator Heidi Heitkamp. On a podcast, Heitkamp repeated a rumor that Rosendale had an affair.
Everything that former Senator Heitkamp said is 100% false and defamatory. And it is very upsetting to me to see that the mudslinging in politics has now stooped to a whole new low.
At the time Rosendale made his announcement, at least 9 Republicans had announced they planned to run for the Eastern District House seat. Rosendale told MTN he had reached out to all of those candidates, and several said they'd support him if he ran again. He said he expected to see some withdraw in the coming days. 3 Democrats have filed campaign finance paperwork to run in the Eastern Congressional District: Kevin Ham of Helena, Min Cabrera of Billings, and Steve Held of Broadus. The full field won't be settled until candidate filing closes on March 11th. In Helena, Jonathan Amberian, MTN News.
Is the border your top issue in the 2024 election? Well, for more and more Americans, it is. A recent Gallup poll found the issue as #1 among voters, surpassing the economy. The issue will be on full display today with dueling visits at the border by President Biden and former President Trump. But will any policy changes happen soon? Our Joe St. George looks at the politics and the number of migrants that have entered the U.S. in recent years.
It's still too early to say what will be the defining issue in this November's election in cities and towns all across the U.S. But at this stage of the presidential race, it's clear that border security is near the top of voters' minds. The importance of border security in this year's election will be on full display Thursday. At the border in Brownsville, Texas, President Biden, his second visit to the border as president. Some 320 miles away, former President Donald Trump in Eagle Pass, Texas. So how do the Trump and Biden presidencies compare when it comes to the border? Well, under President Biden, each year there have been more and more border crossings. According to the Office of Homeland Security Statistics, there are around 2.46 million encounters by Border Patrol agents in the Southwest in fiscal year 2023. In 2022, there were 2.34 million encounters. In 2021, there were 1.7 million. Compare that to the 4 years of the Trump administration, and it is higher. On average, from fiscal year 2017 through 2020, when former President Trump was in office, encounters averaged around 572,000 each year, although we should note COVID did impact that data.
If you actually want to secure the border, it'll take an act of Congress.
Whether it's Democratic governors like Jared Polis of Colorado or the top Republican in the House, Speaker Mike Johnson,
you have to talk first about our open border.
It seems like everybody in politics is talking about the border. But what can be done? Option number one, a bipartisan congressional deal. But the chances of that seem to be close to zero after former President Trump said a recent deal brokered between Democrats and Republicans wasn't strong enough. Option number two, well, Democrats could adopt Speaker Mike Johnson's more conservative bill in the House. It passed there last year, but Democrats in the Senate have already said that's too extreme. And then there's option number three, executive action. The White House is at least suggesting to reporters that that may be on the horizon. But there are legal questions. For instance, when former President Trump tried to limit border crossings while in office through executive order, he was sued, and he lost in court. President Biden faces the same legal hurdles. With the polls showing the border as a top issue on more and more voters' minds, expect more regarding this issue from the leading candidates between now and the fall. Joe St. George, Scripps News, Washington.
It's 42 now. For the third year in a row, the Department of Natural Resources and Conservation reached its goal for acres placed under active forest management. In 2023, Montana placed over 36,000 forested acres, and since 2020, the DNRC has made steady increases in the pace and scale of forest management. Projects include mechanical treatments like thinning or logging, prescribed fire, and forest restoration. Last year, Governor Gianforte signed House Bill 883 into law, which increased funding for DNRC's capacity for forest management across Montana. Gianforte said forest management creates healthier habitats for wildlife, improves water quality, and supports good-paying jobs. The state uses programs including Good Neighbor Authority and state and private funding for forest management, guided by the Forest Action Plan. Now, we're going to take a short break here on Montana This Morning, but when we come back, we'll have a look at your forecast, your top stories, plus a fun tongue twister.
It has a name that will twist your tongue. I'm Ian Lee with how to pronounce this famous sauce.